What's going on, everybody? It's Matthew Schnoes, the Goal Crease Guardian, and I am here because I've got a new stick and I need to show you guys how I set it up. So let's go. Trigger grip time. This is something that I wanted to do for a little bit but have not done because I hadn't needed a new stick until now. Decided to shoot over to Pirani's Hockey World in Livonia, pick up a nice Warrior Ritual 2 VE stick. Really looking forward to this one and just need to get the trigger grip set up. So went over to my parents' house because I don't have the proper tools and went through maybe the 15-minute process of making the trigger grip on my stick. Only a couple of tools that I use, really very simple, so let's get right into it. First thing I do when I am doing this is I always compare it to another stick that I have. That way all of the trigger grips are relatively the same size and shape so that I'm not getting weird feelings in my hand going from one stick to the other. That's very important to me. And just use a black Sharpie, place the old stick on top of the new stick, make a nice little outline as you can see right here, and then shape it up a little bit if I have to, and I'm good to go. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna clamp this stick. I'm going to use a very, very tight clamp so that stick doesn't go anywhere, especially when I'm using the reciprocating saw that I'll get to, because I don't want that stick to move. That's a bad thing. We want it to be nice and sturdy in place. So once that stick is all ready to go, I've got a reciprocating saw. It's a single blade saw. Kids, have your parents do this one, okay? This is a dangerous tool. We don't want anyone to get hurt, so have someone that knows how to use the tools, use the tools. All I do, I take that reciprocating saw and make a nice little cut right along the Sharpie line so that I'm getting that first piece off. Just trying to cut in a relatively straight line, maybe a little bit of curve to it right along the line that I drew, and then take that piece off of the stick and we're good to go on to the next step. Next step for me is just taking the actual trigger out, because I think that's the next hardest piece of this. I've done this both with and without a saw. I find that with a saw is a little bit quicker, so I went with the reciprocating saw for this one and just tried to cut. It's a little bit of a sharper cut, just straight lines, get that piece out, and then I can shape it later. You can see right here, not the cleanest shape for the trigger, but good enough. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change the way that that stick is set up. I'm grabbing the Dremel tool. This is just a little handheld sander that rotates. It's a fantastic tool, really wears things down quickly. And this is how I've done trigger grips in the past with all Dremel tool, and it just takes a little bit longer, so I figured I'd use the saw. The Dremel tool is great for shaping, which is why I use it especially on the shoulder, that top shoulder that you see in the picture, the bottom shoulder of the stick. I want to make sure that the foam and the carbon fibers are all shaped in the same way so that it feels nice and comfortable in my hand. So I go ahead and I do that, and I also shave out the trigger grip a little bit, the trigger itself, to make sure that that's shaped nicely and in the right place so it feels comfortable once I've got it all taped up. The last thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and flip it over and then use that Dremel tool to shape the top part of the stick as well, so that once again it feels nice in my hand. I don't want it to feel too sharp or too bulky, so I go ahead and shape all of that up. Then I clean up, because it's very important to clean up after yourself. I got yelled at about that before. So clean up about after myself, and boom, we've got a trigger grip. Only took like 15 minutes for me, making sure that once you have a trigger grip, you hold on to one of them so that you can repeat the same size and shape, which is something that I like to do. You can see comparing them up, they look nice and similar, and that stick's all set to be taped. So really simple, really easy process. Adults should be doing this, kids. Just so that we're clear, that trigger grip should be done by a parent or a supervisor or guardian, so that they're the one using the tools because they know what they're doing. But it's nice and simple, and now I have a stick all set up for myself. I'm really looking forward to getting this one out there. So if you stay tuned to the channel by heading down below and clicking that subscribe button and notification bell, I'll show you how I tape my sticks in my next video.